Україна? Україна? I would like to thank everyone for coming today to this beautiful place. For those who don't know, this is Bowling Green. And Bowling Green is the place where American nation has started. Bowling Green is a place where people stood up for their freedom, for the freedom of choice, for the freedom of their lives, of their future. The same things that Ukraine does right now, and Ukrainians do right now. We stand for our freedom. We stand for the freedom of the free world. We stand for our future. And the flag that you can see right here, if you look behind, is our flag that has been risen here several weeks ago. And you know, this place is very special. This is a place of unity for Ukrainians and Americans. This is a place of unity for the entire world. So, to begin this amazing rally with these amazing people, I would like, as always, to emphasize one main thing. We are Ukrainians and we are smart. If something happens, or if you see something suspicious, please remember, police is with us. Do not react because it can be used against us. And I know you all know that, but it's just a friendly reminder. Because you know that our enemy can use anything, I repeat, anything against our nation. And we are smart, we're beautiful people, we're people who are standing here for a greater cause. So that is a small reminder from me. And now, to begin, I would like to ask a person who made this whole thing possible, Mr. Arthur Piccolo, chairman of Bowling Green Association, who is a strong supporter of Ukraine. Please welcome him.
Thank you. It is proud that this is the place in New York City where we fly the Ukrainian flag all the time, 24 hours, 7 days a week, and we will continue to do so. I have some comments to make. I want to make it clear I'm only speaking for myself as Arthur Piccolo, chairman of the Bowling Green Association. I do not speak for the Ukrainian community. What is Ukraine? Yes, it is a proud, significant nation in Western Europe, but that is not all. Ukraine has become the battleground for the future of who we all are and what we all stand for and what we are all willing to fight and die for if necessary. Not only Ukrainians, but all of us who believe in a free, democratic society. This cannot be a proxy war anymore in which the United States and NATO stand on the sidelines and simply provide Ukrainians weapons and supplies to fight the war all by themselves for our society. It does not matter if Ukraine is not a member of NATO. It is not the issue. The idea that the US and NATO will directly confront the crimes of Putin that are taking place in Ukraine only if this was happening in Poland or Denmark or anywhere in the 30 members of NATO, but not in Ukraine. This is a preposterous form of logic. President Biden and the other NATO leaders are only using NATO membership as a cowardly and unjustifiable reason for permitting the murder of tens of thousands of Ukrainian children, women, and men, and the destruction of Ukrainian city after city without responding. These heinous crimes by the madman, psychopath, Vladimir Putin, are only the beginning if this invasion is allowed to go on and on for months or more. No matter how brave and resourceful Ukrainians are, and they are, and their ability to slow down the Russians in Ukraine and inflict significant damage on Russia's army, none of this prevents the war crimes that have and are taking place in Ukraine by Putin, nor the superior amount and kind of weapons and the number of troops the Russians are using against Ukrainians. This will not stop. There is no reason to believe that under any circumstances, Putin and Russia will leave Ukraine in the coming weeks and admit defeat. Rather, no matter how poorly this invasion goes, this slaughter continues, and many more thousands of Ukrainians are killed, and more Ukrainian cities and infrastructure are destroyed. If this goes on all year, as President Biden and others have made clear they are willing to see happen, by the end of 2022, there may be nothing left of Ukraine or many Ukrainians still alive. There is only one reason this horror is happening and will continue to happen. Vladimir Putin is being allowed to dictate the terms of America and NATO involvement in Ukraine. A weak U.S. president is refusing under any circumstances to put U.S. soldiers on the ground in Ukraine or planes in the air, or even keep an ambassador and staff or embassy open in Kyiv because he fears Putin will retaliate. How much more damage can Putin do than he is already doing? Will he be allowed to do? Will he also invade one or more NATO members if we respond more forcefully? Not now. He does not have the troops or equipment to do so. Use nuclear weapons? Is the U.S. and the rest of the world now to forever be held hostage by Putin, by him using nuclear blackmail? Do any of us ever want to live in such a world? Any psychopath with nuclear weapons will be able to force the United States and NATO to do whatever they want, limit our options. And it will not stop with Putin. Xi in China and Kim in North Korea will use the same kind of blackmail. Maybe even all three form an alliance to do so and effectively get whatever they demand. This is unacceptable. They all learned a valuable lesson in Afghanistan and how President Biden responded there. In fact, it may be because of Afghanistan, Putin decided he could get away with invading Ukraine, and he is right so far. Biden will not confront Putin. Is there any red line Putin will not be allowed to cross? Is there any number of slaughtered Ukrainians or Ukrainian cities destroyed before Biden and others say, enough, stop, we will not allow you to commit any more crimes in Ukraine? So far, the answer is no. There are no limits for Putin. Think about this. President Biden and NATO have not placed any restrictions on Putin in Ukraine, but he is allowed to dictate what NATO nations can do in Ukraine. We have not told Putin how many troops he is allowed to have in Ukraine, what kind of weapons or tactics he will be allowed to use, or where his army can go in Ukraine, and worst of all, how many Ukrainians he can kill or cities he can destroy. But Putin is telling Biden and the others what they can do. Here are steps the United States and NATO should take right now, more than just sending weapons and supplies. One, United States and NATO must place military advisors, not combatants, in Ukraine right now, today, to assist the Ukrainian military, as we do in many other countries around the world. Why won't President Biden do this? Because it will annoy Putin. Two, U.S. and NATO must deliver weapons and supplies directly to Ukraine by truck, rail, and air, not leave it all in Poland or countries or other countries for Ukraine to pick up. We must do this for them. Why won't President Biden do this? Because it will annoy Putin. Three, U.S. and other nations must reopen their embassies in Kyiv and send their ambassadors back to Kyiv right away. Why won't President Biden do this? Because it will annoy Putin. Four, U.S. and NATO nations under the banner of the Red Cross must provide protections for Ukrainians fleeing cities under assault by Russian troops, missiles, and planes. Why won't President Biden do this? Because it will annoy Putin. Putin is telling Biden and NATO what they can and cannot do. Right now, it is time to stop allowing Putin to tell the U.S. and NATO what it can and cannot do in Ukraine. Putin is a psychopathic war criminal who we must confront right now and stand up for Ukrainian and a worthwhile future for all of us. This is not just about Ukraine. This is about the future of the world. Will it be democratic and free, or ruled over by psychopaths and goons who would enslave us all in their evil fantasies? It is time right now for everyone to say, beginning with President Biden and all the NATO leaders in solidarity and unison, to hell with Vladimir Putin. We do not fear him or his weapons. We will not live free. We will live free, all of us, or we are willing to die fighting for freedom from invasion and oppressions and for the rule of law and our future. Long live Ukraine. Thank you.
Mr. Piccolo. Arthur Piccolo, please. Yes. Wise words indeed. And it is a very great truth that we are fighting not only for our future, we are fighting for the future of the Western civilization. And for those who still have doubts, there is a great song everybody knows, Ukrainian song, and I think that's the most popular song in the world today, with together with our colors. So please welcome great people whom you love and know, who will sing the national anthem of our country, and please, you know the words.
Всім привіт! Як справи? Друзі, якщо можливо, я дуже попрошу зараз кожного заспівати разом з нами. Це можливо? Давайте зробимо. Ще не вмерла України ні слава, ні воля. Ще нам, браття українці, усміхнеться доля. Згинуть наші вороженьки, як роса на сонці. Запануєм і ми, браття, у своїй сторонці. Душу й тіло ми положим за нашу свободу і покажем, що ми браття козацького роду. Голосніше! Душу й тіло ми положим за нашу свободу і покажем, що ми браття козацького роду. Слава Україні! Дякую вам! Друзі, дуже хочу сказати пару слів. Я в Нью-Йорку майже місяць, і я приїхала сюди, щоб допомагати Україні звідси. Я могла залишитись, але я прийняла рішення, що я зроблю більше роботи тут. Я не пропустила жодного мітингу, і я бачу зараз таку тенденцію, на жаль, що на мітинги приходить все менше і менше людей. Я розумію, що хтось втомився, що хтось вже почав звикати до новин, тому що кожен день ми прокидаємось з тим, що ми читаємо новини, і кожен день ми бачимо десятки і сотні навіть вбитих людей. Але я дуже вас хочу попросити. В наших силах зробити так, щоб на мітинги приходило якомога більше людей. Згадайте перші мітинги, скільки тут було народу. Давайте зробимо так, щоб ми не звикали до цього всього. Ми хочемо всі, щоб ця війна закінчилась якомога швидше. І в наших силах зробити так. В нас є сили, в нас є телефони. Покажіть всім, що кожної суботи проходять мітинги. Розкажіть вашим американським друзям про те, що вони можуть повпливати на те, щоб війна закінчилася якомога швидше. Я вас дуже сильно прошу. Але тут є також люди, яких я бачу кожної суботи. І ви мені всі стали дуже близькими і рідними. І я хочу вам сказати величезне дякую за те, що ми всі робимо для нашої країни. Це дуже-дуже приємно. Дякую вам величезне. Слава Україні! Слава Україні! Слава Україні! Дякую, ви всі молодці.
For our English-speaking friends, so that you can also be a part of this. The news continuing out of Ukraine are a lot. We understand that. But think about what Ukrainians are going through right now. Families huddling together in masses, trying to keep warm at night, trying to stay safe, trying to stay alive. Please, keep coming and standing with us. We see a tendency of people not coming out onto the streets. But please know that Ukrainians are together in New York City every Saturday. Please come and join hands with us. Please stand by us. It means the world to have you by our side. We have so much power. Think back even 10 years, 20 years. We did not have the power that we have these days. Your power is in your pockets. Use it. Text your friends. Post on social media. Call your families and let them know about what's going on. I just had the immense pleasure of being in Atlanta for a fundraiser. Speaking with Americans in Atlanta, it dawned on me how many Americans know nothing about our country, know nothing about Ukraine, know nothing about the war, the genocide that's happening. And I'm not talking about the people that came to the protests, came to the fundraisers, regular Americans. Take the time out of your day to speak to people you don't know. Let them know about what's going on in our country. This is how we win. By joining hands, by standing together. Victory is coming. Slava Ukraini! Slava Ukraini! Slava Ukraini! Україна! 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 Дякую.
Yeah, a round of applause. Come on, guys. Can you hear us well? Maybe someone doesn't hear us. Because if not, we can adjust sound, but I think that's enough. And indeed, yes, every single time we are here, every single time we have this conversation, we emphasize you. You are the part of Ukraine. Every single one of you. Spread the word. Don't be afraid. Indeed, you have this power. You have it. You have it in your pocket. You have it everywhere. I mean, come on. How many people are here today? Bring a friend. It'll be twice, 3 times more. Don't underestimate yourself. You're Ukrainians. You have no chance. You have no right to underestimate yourselves. Remember that. The whole world is Ukraine right now. The whole world. And why we came here today is not only to show support to the world, but to demand to arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now.
Arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now.
Arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now.
Arm Ukraine now.
Louder. Arm Ukraine now.
Arm Ukraine now.
Arm Ukraine now.
Arm Ukraine
Yes, arm Ukraine now. Because it is our fight. It is our fight not only for the glorious country of ours, but for the peace and for the future of the world. And who else knows more about the fight than the person who fights constantly every day? Please welcome Consul General of Ukraine, Mr. Golubov.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, дорога українська громада. This afternoon is really good. It's lovely. I wish to thank Mr. Piccolo not only for hospitality of the Bowling Green Association, but also for ensuring this lovely weather over us today. What a lovely day. What a lovely day here in New York. It is also the 59th day of the war waged against Ukraine by the bloody Putin's regime. 59 days that surprised the world with Ukraine's military bravery, with Ukraine's military steadfastness, with unbreakable spirit of Ukrainians. And I want to thank you all who gathered today at this wonderful Bowling Green Park. Instead of spending your time with your families somewhere else. Why you decided this? Because you are all Ukrainians now. We are all Ukrainians. Some of us by blood, some of us by soil, and all of us by choice. I want to thank you all for being here, to once again raise our voice in support of my country, to once again make an attempt to stop war waged against Ukraine, to once again do what we can, this time with a simple but very energetic slogan: arm Ukraine now, arm Ukraine now, arm Ukraine now, arm Ukraine now,
Arm Ukraine now! Arm Ukraine now! Arm Ukraine now!
Thank you.
Arm Ukraine now!
Each and every of us is capable person. But when we are together, we are a real force. It is not only due to governmental officials' efforts. It is only not due to Ukrainian diplomats' efforts. It is due to your efforts, our dear friends, colleagues, Ukrainians. Your words are pushing towards your elected officials to help decision makers to make step toward Ukraine. Ukraine surprised the world. But Ukraine surprised the world with also how the world could surprise Ukraine, changing its mind in quite a rapid mode. We of course would like to have arms yesterday, literally, but we thank for Western leaders who decided to gather in just 3-4 days on the 26th of April, led once again by the United States government, by United States President, to make a fast decision how they can help Ukraine with necessary weaponry. Я вдячний українській громаді. Я вдячний всім вам, українцям. Я вдячний всім нам, хто зібрався сьогодні. Мабуть, це не сама краща річ, коли ти напередодні великодніх свят просиш про зброю. Але ми знаємо, що ця зброя, яка б вона не була, який би не був її статус, коли вона в руках українських захисників, які захищають свою землю, свої домівки, своїх дітей і своїх дружин, ця зброя, вона є захисна по своїй суті. Давайте продовжимо тиск на політиків, давайте стукати в двері сусідам, давайте вимагати дати Україні зброю. Давайте допоможемо нашим захисникам захистити землю і захистити ті цінності і ті принципи, які ми поділяємо з демократичним світом. Давайте зробимо це разом. Давайте зробимо це зі світлим почуттям в нашому серці. Христос воскрес! Воскресне і Україна! Нашими спільними зусиллями. Кожне ваше слово – це краплина. Наші спільні слова – це ручейки. Вони зливаються в ріки, які розмивають недовіру і неспішність західного світу. Давайте допоможемо цим річкам бути повноводними. Давайте допоможемо decision makers зробити правильні рішення. Давайте зробимо це в ім'я України. Давайте зробимо це в ім'я людства. Давайте зробимо це разом. І я хочу вас сьогодні привітати всім сьогодні відомим вітанням українських Збройних сил. Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Дякую!
Another round of applause, please. This is a person who comes to every hour rally, every single rally, and not only rallies, but even more. And that's how every single one of us have to behave. It's almost 2 months. 2 months, every single Ukrainian lives in 2 time zones. In this time zone and in Ukrainian time zone. 2 months, we don't go to sleep before calling our relatives who are in Ukraine. 2 months, regardless of the work we have to do, we are on our phones. Not because we want to sit at Instagram, post something, you know, fancy life, but because we are looking and waiting for the news. Good news, bad news. But why are we doing that? Because Ukraine is not somewhere there. Ukraine is always here, and is always here. And remember about that, because your heart is blue and yellow, and it has to be that way before victory and after victory. It has to be that way all the time. And I'm not asking, I'm demanding. The nation has been created. Be proud of your nation. Be proud of being Ukrainian. Be proud of being the most resilient nation in the world. Be proud wearing your flag. Be proud when you see your flag. Be proud of yourself. Because as the Consul General said, it's Saturday, great Saturday. And instead of spending your time somewhere else, you are here. And personally, I would like to give a round of applause to every one of you. You are my heroes, that's true. You are my heroes, and I'm proud to be Ukrainian. And that is true that we need more weapons. But as well, we need Putin to get out of Ukraine. I don't know if words work, but they seem to work. So there is that great song, Brick in the Wall, and there are words, hey teacher, leave us kids alone. We can say, hey Putin, leave Ukraine alone. 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 Putin, leave Ukraine alone. Come on, all together. Hey, Putin, leave Ukraine alone. Hey, Putin, leave Ukraine alone.
Hey, Putin, leave Ukraine alone. Hey, Putin, leave Ukraine alone.
All in all, Russia is just another brick in the wall.
Leave Ukraine alone.
Yeah.
Leave Ukraine alone.
And And the thing is that a lot of people say that, oh, okay, we need time to figure out what weapons to give, offensive, defensive. There's no difference today because there are no defensive weapons for Ukraine. There are no offensive weapons for Ukraine. There are simply weapons to fight with evil. Tomorrow indeed is a very big holiday for Orthodox Christians. Easter, as we call it, Velikoden. Tomorrow, Jesus Christ, would resurrect. And together with this resurrection, I hope and I believe that not only Ukraine will resurrect, feeling of responsibility will resurrect in other people. Unity will resurrect because we will make this resurrect. And today, we're asking for weapons not to fight humans. We're asking for weapons to fight evil. Because the same way God fought evil, the same way Ukrainian fights evil today, the same way we go forward and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini! Slava Ukraini! Slava Ukraini! Hearing this chant makes me know that we have future. Because even though if only one Ukrainian is left on this planet, he or she, regardless, will fight till the end. Till the end. With bare arms, with sticks, stones, with weapons, we will fight. But now the world has a choice. The world has a choice to stand on the side of good or to be silent. And you all remember what silence is today and any other day. Silence is a crime. 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 Silence is a crime.
Silence is a crime. Silence is a crime.
Silence is a crime.
Silence is a crime.
Don't be silent. World, don't be silent. United States, don't be silent. People, don't be silent. Your voice matters. Your voice can save lives and will save lives. And fast actions will save lives. And there are only one action that we need today from all governments all across the world. Give us weapons. Arm Ukraine now. 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 Arm Ukraine now.
Arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now.
Arm Ukraine now.
Arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now.
And stop saying either those are defensive or offensive weapons. It doesn't matter. The only thing we need is to fight evil. Can you imagine if someone would think during World War II, while providing weapons to European allies, I don't know, maybe we can give them just defensive weapons. I don't know. Well, maybe. Maybe cannons would be too much. I don't know. Maybe just several rounds. No, it doesn't work like that. If people start thinking like that, if they're slow thinkers, then the price rises. Human deaths, destructions. It all rises with every minute, with every second, while we are standing here, while we are speaking. Today, my home city of Odessa was attacked. And you know what was attacked? It wasn't a military base. It wasn't a port or something that can at least be connected to military infrastructure. It was a house. Just a house. House where people were getting prepared to celebrate Easter. 3-month-old girl was dead, was killed. 3 month. It had to be her first Easter. The same thing we can see all around Ukraine. And we've seen those horrible destructions that Russian army brought to the cities around Kiev, to Mariupol, to every single city in Ukraine. It is not a war, it's a genocide. All those kidnapped kids and adults, more than 100,000 kids, taken to Russia. For what reason? For what purpose? They sent them 8,000 kilometers away from Ukraine into Siberia. The history repeats itself. The same as it was with Tatars, the same thing that was with Chechens, same thing that was with Ukrainians long time ago. And that is a horrible thing, because society forgot the history. And that's what happens when people forget the history. That's what happens when powerful democracies, powerful nations stand silent and try to have a deal with a dictator, with a crazy person. He doesn't understand language. He understands only power. And to show him power, we need weapons. And to have weapons, we need you to arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now.
Arm Ukraine now.
Arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now.
Arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now.
Arm Ukraine now. Yes, arm Ukraine now. And right now I would like to bring up here today my very close friend, a person who also comes to every single rally, a person who knows a lot about Ukraine, a person who knows how to bring the spirit up. Please welcome Oleg.
Слава Україні! Найперше, що я хочу, це висловити слова співчуття всім українцям і всім одеситам, які сьогодні відчули на собі смертельну зброю Москальської Федерації. Моє співчуття, друже. Дорогі пані і панове, слухаючи і дивлячись на все, що відбувається сьогодні, на цей військовий великий конфлікт, на цю війну російсько-українську, і на все, що я чув від своїх родичів, цим я хочу поділитися з вами. Коли я був малий, моя прабабуся розповідала мені про австрійсько-російську війну 14-15 років. Через містечко, де жила моя родина, проходив фронт. З одного боку ріки стояла армія австрійська, з другого боку річки в місті стояла армія москалів. І ви знаєте, коли приходив час свят великодніх, зброя переставала стріляти. Була домовленість, що у свята зброя не стріляє. і на мості сходилися через річку, сходилися представники одної воюючої сторони і другої воюючої сторони, обмінювалися дарунками великодніми, і зброя була тихо в цей час. Але що ми бачимо сьогодні? Ми бачимо добру руку українського уряду і добру пропозицію зробити тишину на свята. А москалі, які видають себе за релігійних православних, не чують нашого голосу доброї волі. Їх патріарх ФСБ, РПЦ благословляє їх зброю на нас, на наших жінок, на наших дітей, на наших батьків. І сьогодні, у велику страсну суботу, вони не бояться гріха і вони стріляють по нашій сонячній Одесі. Кажуть, що людина за Дарвіном пішла від мавпи. Але ми бачимо, що у москалів іде все навпаки. Від людини є повернення до мавпи знову. І ще гірше є питання щодо мавпи взагалі. Бо так себе навіть звірі не поводять, як поводять себе москалі. А на кінець хочу пригадати вам слова славного нашого українського гетьмана Івана Мазепи. Що навіки буде слава, же през шаблю маєм права. І тільки шабля і зброя може визволити Україну. Тільки зброя, а не гнилий лібералізм, як у Німеччині, які кажуть, що великі інтелектуали і так, і вони збирають підписи, лівацькі інтелектуали, про те, щоб примусити уряд Німеччини, щоб уряд Німеччини вплинув на український уряд, щоб ми капітулювали. Та якщо вони до холєри такі мудрі, хай віддають частину Німеччини москалям. Це як насильник приходить до жертви, а жертві подобається, що приходить насильник, що приходить доміна або домінантний чоловік і б'є жінку. Німці взагалі, частина німецької інтелектуальної еліти втратила совість. Але ми сильні. Є люди, які в світі стоять за нами. Ще свого часу, славної пам'яті, гетьман Павло Скоропадський був дуже добрим політиком. І він свого сина під час війни Німеччини з союзниками відправив до Англії. Бо він знав, що надіятися можна тільки на Англію. Він сам не зміг виїхати з деяких причин до Англії. Наша надія тільки на англомовний світ. На Англію, на Америку, на Канаду, на Австралію і на північні держави і Балтійські держави. А все інше – це дурня. Тільки є одні джентльмени, хто може нам допомогти в сьогоднішній ситуації. Так що разом до перемоги! Слава Україні! Слава Україні! Слава Україні! Слава нації! Україна! 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 Христос воскресне! Воскресне Україна!
I told you he knows what to say.
He is good.
Yeah, he is good. Give him a round of applause, really, come on. Yes, and that is true that in these horrible times, we have found who our real friends are. And it turned out to be that a lot of them know what it means to live under Soviet Union. Poland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Czech Republic, Moldova. Those were all countries who were influenced by Soviet Union, and those are countries who know that talks will not work. And since we need weapons, and we do need weapons, I'm kindly asking you, so this is a little QR code. I will ask my friends to go around the crowd. If you scan this QR code, it will take you to the page. A very simple procedure. Just put in your name, put in your zip code, and you can send a letter. A letter that demands weapons, airplanes and anti-aircraft weapons for now, other weapons as well, from your representatives, from White House, from Counts, from Senate. Do that. It will take you like 5 minutes, but believe me, they will receive it, and they will know how to react. Please. It has to go. It has to go forward, it has to move forward, and we have to get the weapons. And yet again, why are we here today? Please answer me. Because we need to what? Yes, once again. 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 All together. All together again. Arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. We don't need your soldiers. We need weapons. We have our soldiers. I've read the last ratings, army ratings. Ukraine is not a part of NATO, but among all the countries of NATO, we are number 4. And that is a result, because the top 3 are United States, Great Britain, and Turkey, and then Ukraine. Can you imagine? This leap made in 60 days, number 4 among top European and world armies. I think ZSU deserves applause. Slava ZSU! Slava ZSU! Slava ZSU! Slava Героям! It is indeed, our soldiers are our greatest heroes. The representatives of territory defense are our greatest heroes. Volunteers are our greatest heroes. Every single person is a hero today. Don't forget about it. You are heroes as well. Please, always remember that and always keep that in mind, that every single person is a hero. Because if not today, there will be no other chance. There will be no other chance to be united. United we stand. United we will win. United we will make a step forward to a brighter future. Future without a crazy enemy that has nuclear power. Future we will make a step forward to the future without a crazy person who threatens the world with using it. We don't need this world. We need to win, and we will win. Слава Україні! Слава Україні! Слава Україні! Glory to Ukraine, that's for sure. And talking about unity, I want every one of you to remember there are people in different nationalities, of different nationalities. And regardless of their nationality, there are good people and there are bad people. And I do understand your emotions, and do understand that it is hard right now, waking up in the morning, seeing the death toll, to realize and to accept this. But please, remember, there are good people in Russia who oppose this regime, who do not support this regime. There are good people everywhere. In those countries, in Belarus, people of Belarus stand with us all the time. People of Georgia stand with us all the time. And regardless of nationality, please, never, never think about all the nation as about the president that represents that nation. Putin is not Russia. Please remember that. Yes, a lot of Russians are under influence of propaganda. But we cannot turn into what we are fighting with. Be smart. Always be smart. And always think. And today, I would like to ask my very close friend. He will speak for himself, but please welcome him. Leo, please.
Здравствуйте все, с праздниками вас. Я буду говорить на русском. Я чеченец. Вот так выглядит чеченский флаг. Флаг, отличающийся от этого, это не чеченский флаг, чтобы вы понимали. Сейчас очень много там пишут, что если бы благодатный огонь не сошел бы, то можно было бы поверить в его существование. Но давайте верить не в огонь, не в институты, не в людей, а давайте верить в то, что добро победит. Сегодня это нам всем очень нужно. Я пацифист, но я за то, чтобы на большое зло отвечать. Потому что если надеяться на кого-то, на что-то, на чудо, к сожалению, мир не изменится, мир лучше не станет, если мы не будем что-то предпринимать. Сегодня вооружение Украине очень нужно, и нужно помогать всеми возможными путями. Нужно давить на правительство, нужно собираться, нужно собирать донейшн, перечислять, поддерживать. Если кому-то кажется, что это не важно, можете посмотреть на то, что стало с Чечней, у которой не было вооружения, у которой не было армии, у которого не было ничего, кроме, считайте, рук, ног. Кадыровцы сегодня воюют вместе с российскими войсками, потому что они понимают, что их существование напрямую зависит от путинского режима. Хочу сказать вам спасибо, что вы отделяете кадыровцев от чеченцев. Потому что сегодня кадыровцы, наверное, самые большие россияне, в кавычках, в России. Потому что само их существование зависит от этого режима. И эта битва в Украине, она в принципе битва за будущее всех постсоветских территорий. Это не только о свободе Украины, но о свободе многих мест, куда империя пришла. Да, русские, нужно это отделять, не надо попадать в ксенофобию и говорить русские, чеченцы, на путинцев, на кадыровцев. Понимаю, это достаточно сложно. Очень легко сказать, вот русские, вот чеченцы, буряты. Но поверьте, люди находятся 30 лет. Мы находимся 22 года в оккупации. И у людей все сбито. Люди в принципе не понимают ничего. У нас есть информация, у них не везде она есть. Где-то есть, где-то нет. И хочу сказать вам спасибо за то, что вы держитесь. Это очень важно. И за ваше единство, за вашу сплоченность, за вашу поддержку друг другу, за то, что Вот вдумайтесь, все ваши артисты выступают по всему миру, призывая донатить. Это настолько большая сила. Я не знаю, это все, наверное, будут потом рассматривать, оценивать как нечто экстраординарное. Вы большие молодцы, держитесь. И несмотря на мой пацифизм, да, я призываю, конечно же, чтобы у Украины было оружие. И, ну, нам осталось немножко надавить. Я думаю, буквально немножко. И мир будет вынужден. И благодаря вам все преступники будут осуждены. Я в этом не сомневаюсь. Слава Украине! Спасибо вам большое!
Let's give a round of applause to Leo, please. And to Free Chechnya, Free Ichkeria. And yes, that's the bitter truth, but that's the truth. It is always easy to look at nation and just to say, oh, okay, they're all bad and we're all good, but that's how tyranny is born. That's how it happens. And unfortunately, that particular moment that we had back in the day to prevent tyranny from rising, the world lost that moment. And I can tell you for sure that nothing of this would happen if in 2014, after the annexation of Crimea, after the war started, world reacted. Nothing would happen. And that, again, brings us back to silence. Never be silent. Never. If you see something inappropriate, speak. Even if you're alone. Even if people who are around you are against you, speak. You never know. You never know how your words can influence someone, and you never know what the outcome will be, but you always know the outcome of silence. And the history has shown that. We have seen that throughout millennia. When people are silent, when they are afraid, when they think, okay, someone else will speak for me, that's when inequality rises. That's when we are divided. That's when evil rises. Because you all know that for rise of evil, the only thing that is needed is for good thing to be silent. Don't be silent. Don't be silent today, don't be silent tomorrow. Always stand up and speak. You have your voice. God has given you your voice for a reason. Not for a reason to argue or to say dirty things about others, but to stand up and speak. Show arguments. Convince. That is the power of voice. Convince. Because if we were able to speak and to listen, then unity would come earlier. And indeed, we have to be united. And today, as a united nation, as a family, let's once again remind the world what we need. We need to arm
Ukraine now!
Arm?
Ukraine now!
Arm?
Ukraine now!
Arm?
Ukraine now!
Arm 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 Ukraine now! Arm Ukraine now!
Arm Ukraine now!
Arm Ukraine now!
Arm Ukraine now!
Arm Ukraine now! Arm Ukraine now, because tomorrow there is another very good song. I don't know why today such a, songs coming up in my mind. There is a very good song named 6 Days, and there are words, tomorrow never comes until it's too late. Tomorrow never comes until it's too late. But we have to make tomorrow come before it's too late. And that is the purpose of every single person standing here, every single person fighting in Ukraine, every single person all around the world. Not only Ukrainians, not only people from Ukraine or people who chosen to be Ukrainians. Every single person. Every single person has to rise, every single person has to speak. So once again, let's speak. What do we need? We need to arm Ukraine now.
Arm Ukraine now! Arm Ukraine now!
Arm Ukraine now.
Arm Ukraine now!
Arm Ukraine now.
Arm Ukraine now!
Arm Ukraine now.
Arm Ukraine now! Arm Ukraine now!
Come on, arm Ukraine now.
Arm Ukraine now!
All together, arm Ukraine now.
Arm Ukraine now!
Arm Ukraine now.
Arm Ukraine now! 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 Arm Ukraine now!
People have to hear us.
Now!
People have to hear us because Ukraine is a very unique and deep culture. And to show this culture, please welcome a very, very, very close friend and an activist as well, who is always here and who has a beautiful voice. And I think the surprise that she has, you will love. You will love this song, I bet you. Please welcome.
Hello. Hello, my dear Ukrainians, and not only Ukrainians. We are facing a big holiday. I just want to say a couple words. The responsibility is placed on Ukrainians. It's huge just because Ukrainian is such a big trend right now. My son's friend lied that his mom has Ukrainian roots just to show that he has something Ukrainian. It's incredible. And I want to remind you, every single one of you has this power. Our weapon here is our strong belief, because look at this. If every single Ukrainians on February 24th would be afraid and wouldn't stand together, that what would happen? But everyone single believe that they can change the world, and we have to believe every single one of us can change the world. And yes, please join me in singing this beautiful song that is a second anthem. Ой, у лузі червона калина похилилася, щось наша славна Україна зажурилася, а ми тую червону калину підіймемо, а ми нашу славну Україну розвеселимо, а ми тую червону калину підіймемо, а ми нашу славну Україну розвеселимо. Христос воскрес і Україна воскресне!
When we have song in our hearts, we are unbreakable. And Ukrainians have a lot of songs. That's for sure. And the songs that we have are various. Songs of love, songs for fight, but most of all, songs of freedom. Because Freedom is something that is in our DNA. Freedom is something every single Ukrainian is born with. Freedom is something we are ready to give our lives for. Freedom is the synonym of our nation. Слава Україні! Слава Україні! Слава Україні! Those words that we say, the words that we hear all the time, every single time, are not just words. Those are powerful vibrations that can and will change the world. Those are things that have to and will unite the world. And today the world is united. Today the world is united around Ukraine. Every single country, every single man and woman are united around our country. And that gives me, again, it makes me proud. We made it. You have made it by coming and showing up every single Saturday. Have you walked around Manhattan? It's all blue and yellow. You have made it, every single one of you. And you continue to do that every single day. Look around. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm getting crazy, but everywhere I see blue and yellow. Everywhere. All the stores, all the bus stops, even Empire State Building. Let's give a round of applause to New York City. Yeah. This great city that hosts the largest Ukrainian community has truly shown the love that our people gave this town. This town gave this love to us. Not only this town though, a lot of other cities around the United States, a lot of other cities around the globe, they all showed love to us. And we are showing love to our people who are in Ukraine today. We are showing love to every single person who is in Ukraine. And for now, you know, let's give a round of applause to those countries who help us. Let's give a round of applause to Poland. Let's give a round of applause to Estonia. Let's give a round of applause to Lithuania, Latvia, Czech Republic, Moldova, Georgia, to United States, the country that helps us a lot, the country that was the first one to respond, Great Britain, and especially to Boris Johnson, please. I don't know if he would hear that, but Mr. Johnson, thank you. Yeah. He is an example. He's an example. And you know, when I think when our kids will grow, they will have this question, who you want to be, and a lot of would answer, I want to be as Boris Johnson. And that's a great answer. And as well, let's give a round of applause to ZSU. And a round of applause to our president. He is the inspiration. He never left. He stands with us and we stand with him. Please, round of applause to our president. He is always with us, and we are always with him. And we will give lives for our country as well as he will give life for our country. We have the trust in him, and he has trust in us. That's what nation is. That is when nation prevails. when the government and the people are united, regardless of political views, regardless of anything, when we stand united. That is what's happening. That is what's happening when people come out and speak, when people show what they want, when people actually demand for what they need. And once again, what do we need?
Arm Ukraine now!
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 Arm Ukraine now! Yes, yes. And as well as since we started this, I think it's a good tradition, you know, to be thankful. You always have to be thankful for what you have. You always have to be grateful for what you have. And we have a lot of friends. But despite that, we have people in Ukraine who are under siege today. And I'm talking about Mariupol. Let's give a round of applause to people of Mariupol. I hope they will hear us and will see our support. People of Mariupol, you are real heroes. Azov. Azov. They are Azov. Azov. But not only Azov. National Guard, Національна гвардія України також, поліція, батальйони морської піхоти, люди, взагалі люди у Маріуполі. Прикордонники всі ЗСУ.
Медичний батальйон.
Дуже багато всіх. І ми не маємо права про них забувати, про кожного. Ми будемо пам'ятати кожного. Кожну хвилину.
Скажіть, щоб зверталися.
Бо саме це і є. Жіночка дуже хоче сказати, будь ласка.
Привіт, вибачте, я не готувала не промову. Я хотіла б сказати просто від щирого серця за Маріуполь. Хотіла б донести, що в них залишаються години, розумієте? І там на заводі Азовсталь люди заблоковані повністю. Крім наших Національної гвардії, поліції, прикордонників, медичного батальйону, крім наших військових, там заблоковані люди, маленькі діти, ви розумієте? Зараз ідуть відлік на години, навіть не дні. І нам що потрібно зробити? Зеленський заявив, що військового способу їх звільнити немає, тому що не надано достатньої кількості зброї. Саме не надано літаків-винищувачів та важкого озброєння. І другий момент. Залишається єдиний вихід – це звертатися до Організації Об'єднаних Націй. Для того, щоб вони допомогли під супроводом Організації Об'єднаних Націй, допомогли розблокувати людей і вивести наших військових разом із зброєю. Ви самі розумієте, що статися в полон – це фактично бути закатованим, розумієте? Це немає варіанту. Всім абсолютно потрібно писати у всіх соціальних мережах, знімати відео для того, щоб Організація Об'єднаних Націй під своїм супроводом вивела людей з окупованого Маріуполю. Це на сьогоднішній момент єдиний варіант. Далі хотіла ще сказати з приводу зброї. Аналізуючи все, що відбувається, єдина причина, чому не надано зброї достатньої кількості, на мою думку, це те, що уряд Сполучених Штатів Америки боїться ядерної зброї. І фактично вони вибрали шлях поступового знесилення Росії за рахунок нас, за рахунок українських людей. Я хотіла, щоб ви донесли, що це неправильний варіант, він помилковий і він призведе до занепаду України. Фактично, якщо Росія зараз вона може довгостроково боротися, бо військові дії йдуть не на її територію, у нас цих шансів взагалі немає. Ви розумієте, економіка зруйнована. Щомісячно Україні потрібно $1 мільярд для підтримання економіки. У нас цих грошей немає. Фактично, наш уряд змушений буде просити постійно позики для підтримання нашої економіки.
Thank you very much. Don't forget that our army stands strong, and despite all the efforts, we will win. We will win. We will win. We will win.
We will win! We will win! We will win! We will win!
We never forget about Mariupol. We never forget about soldiers. And as yesterday Aristovich said that 101% there will be a deblocade of Mariupol. And there will be. And I do believe in that. There will be. And people of Mariupol, we need them alive. And we need people who will attack Mariupol to deblock it to be alive as well. This is the hard part of the war. This is the hard part of every war. You have to be smart. Always. Regardless of how hard it is, you have to be smart. Because any ruthless move can cause deaths to rise. So please, believe in ЗСУ, бо ми віримо в ЗСУ. Віримо в ЗСУ. Віримо в ЗСУ. Віримо в ЗСУ. So, we're getting closer to an end of our meeting, a great meeting. So once again, please welcome the person who you know very well, a smart person, a Ukrainian, a real patriot, please.
Дорога громада, я ніколи не виступаю на мітингах по 2 рази. Це не в моєму стилі. Раз виступив, став у стороні, пішов, перекурив. Знаєте, але з дуже великою повагою я відношуся і до переживання даної пані, яка виступила, сказала якісь думки, які її тривожать, за які вона переживає. Вона переживає за українців, за тих людей, які не українці, які воюють на нашій стороні, за тих, які у оточеному Маріуполі перебувають, на Азовсталі, за цивільних жителів Маріуполя, які є в тяжкій ситуації. Але наш президент Володимир Зеленський сказав, якщо ви всі слідкуєте уважно за тим, що відбувається в Україні. Зеленський сказав, що тільки військовим шляхом можна здобути Маріуполь. І тільки військовим шляхом можна визволити тих, які знаходяться в підвалах Азовсталі, цивільних громадян. І цей військовий штурм буде. Він сказав, що ЗСУ готується до цього. Одна надія на зброю, як завжди. Же при шаблю маємо право. Далі. Недобра думка була стосовно того, що Сполучені Штати чекають, поки знесилиться Росія. Ні, це неправда. Якби чекали, то не давали б нам зброю взагалі ніяку. Блокували б для нас гроші і так далі. Це не є достовірність. Це є переживання окремої людини. І то, що в неї на серці вона сказала. Але треба завжди, коли щось говоримо, дивитися добре на новини і на те, що відбувається. І говорити завжди, подавати інформацію правдиву. Я ніколи не говорю про те, що я догадуюся, що так є. І закликаю всіх наступних, хто буде виступати, триматися не своїх догадок і своїх переживань, а триматися того, що є. І перемога буде за нами! Слава Україні! Дякую.
And as I told you before, there are different people. Different people in every nation, different people of various nationalities. And today, please welcome a person who is Russian, but he's standing with Ukraine. He's a brave person. Please meet him. Give him a round of applause. Come on.
Thank you for having me. I'm Russian. I'm from Moscow. And I feel shame. I feel shame. Once again, it's very painful for me to see Russia attacking Ukraine right now. When Russian soldiers kill Ukrainian civilians, children, when there is attack on Mariupol, and 59 days, I still feel shame. It's very difficult for me to come here and speak in front of Ukrainians. But it's difficult for me to be silent and not to come here and not to say that I'm sorry. Вибачте нас. It's a turning point for Russia. We cannot be as a country anymore after what has happened in Ukraine. We're changing our flag, white, blue, white. There are Russians who are fighting in Legion Russians' freedom in Ukraine because we cannot be silent, because we feel terrible shame and also we see that Ukraine is a great example for us. We are proud of Ukrainian people who are fighting, and we are looking at Ukraine as an example for future Russia. I understand that like even Russian language, anything Russian flag is turning, causing aggression and negative emotions in Ukrainian. It's understandable, but as Russian I want to say, like, yet we understand Ukrainians having hard feelings against Russians right now, and we understand that, and we stand with Ukraine and with Ukrainians, and we feel pain the same, not the same, but I understand it's way more difficult for Ukrainians right now, but it's still very hard for us to be, but I hope that one day Russia will be free. Росія буде вільною. This is like our motto for Russians. But in the end, I want to say thank you for seeing that there are different people in Russia, and no matter, right now Ukrainians can have any opinion on Russians, we understand that, but despite anything like that, we will be standing with Ukraine because you are example for us. Thank you. Slava Ukraini.
Please give. Sorry, yeah, it's too loud. I got afraid of my voice. It happens sometimes. Give a round of applause, please. It has to be. Those words have to be spoken, and people have to hear them. And one of our last speakers, please meet the person who is always with us with a very nice board, Stand with Ukraine, Robbie.
Слава Україні!
хочу сказать, что я люблю Украину, и я верю, что все будет хорошо в Украине. Хочу мир в Украине. And I want to give a message to the tourists walking by here right now. I notice there's a big Spanish population, so I'll say it. Estamos aquí para paz en Ucrania, que porque lo que está pasando ahora es algo increíble. Lo que Putin está haciendo es algo increíble. Y estamos unidos para paz en Ucrania. Quizá tú estás viajando de España, de cualquier país. Escuche, por favor, que necesitamos su ayuda en apoyo para parar lo que Putin está haciendo. And we're here for peace in Ukraine. What Putin is doing is awful, and you don't have to be Ukrainian. I think everybody here knows I'm far from being Ukrainian nationality-wise, but you can still support Ukraine. You may be from any other part of the world. You can still support peace in Ukraine. Я верю, что все будет хорошо в Украине. Я люблю Украину. Америка любит Украину. Бог любит Украину. Слава Украина!
Support, support, support from all over the place. Support, yay! And to finish this great gathering, of us before we finish this. Please welcome Mr. Piccolo, Chairman of Bowling Green Association, who helped us to organize all this stuff. Please.
I just wanted to take a few moments to tell you a small sliver of the history of Bowling Green because it's relevant and why I'm proud you're here and went twice in 2 weeks and we'll keep coming here. And while we're proud you're here, this fence was put up in 1771 by the British. It's a National Historic Landmark. The British put it up because the British occupiers, the British occupiers of New York had put a statue of their king in the middle of the park. And the British, to protect it from the New Yorkers who were vandalizing it, put up this fence in 1771. And they locked the fence. They would not let New Yorkers use their own and only park until the evening of July 9, 1776, when word of independence finally reached New York City, and a group just like you stood right where you are and where I am standing. The New Yorkers broke through the fence and ripped down the statue of the King of England, and it was made out of lead, and they melted it down and they shot it as musket shot against the British. And when the war came to an end, George Washington came to Bowling Green. The last British troops still in America were in New York City, and the last British flag still flying in America was flying right here. George Washington came here on November 25th, 1783, to stand exactly where you're standing and to watch the last British flag come down and the British invaders leaving New York City and all of America. The symbolism is great for what's happening today. I look forward to you coming back here to Bowling Green again and again. And most of all, Arthur, after the invaders are gone and President Zelensky can travel and come to New York City, I look to him coming here to Bowling Green just as George Washington did, and himself raising the Ukrainian flag at Bowling Green. Long live Ukraine!
Give a round of applause to Mr. Piccolo, please. That will happen one day, and I know that. And I really do believe that our president will come to visit this city because, you know, it is a great deal and a great honor to be part of you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Arthur.
No, guys, it's all about you. One person is nothing, but the group is a lot. And even the one person is a lot, but when you are Ukrainians, it's always one person and a group of people, but still we're Ukrainians, doesn't matter. So, we're running to the end, and before we are done with our great, beautiful song that everyone knows. I would like for a moment of silence. I would like to ask you for a moment of silence for all those who gave their lives, who were killed, for all those who protect our land and will protect it, for all those who protect the future of the world.